And our guest today is Dave McClaine. He's the founder of ClarionSportsZone.com. For anything about Clarion Sports, you can find it there. Dave's put a lot of work. He's also the historian or archivist. He prefers historian for the Clarion area football team. And we thought we'd talk with Dave today about the upcoming game this Friday with North Catholic, going to be held in DuBois on Friday, and be available here on the radio station.
It'll be on C93 that evening. It's pregame at 6, kickoff at 7. So if you're listening on Sunday, you can go back to redzonemedia.com and listen in too.
Right. You think you might have missed it, but you won't miss it. Between Red Zone and ClarionSportsZone.com. Dave, welcome to Clarion Connection.
Oh, thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
How's it looking, basically, for Friday's game? We're playing North Catholic, a pretty prominent power in the Pittsburgh area.
Yes, we several of us went and looked at them Friday night, and they look pretty good, but they're a team that I think we match up with real well. I think in a lot of ways, one of us looks like the clone of the other. Probably the only difference I see is that our quarterback, John Cadis, is your drop-back style quarterback, stay in your pocket quarterback, and he's had a lot of good success there. One reason our line hasn't given up a sack all year, and John hasn't thrown an interception all year. Up until last week, he did throw his first one against Lakeview. And North Catholic's quarterback is a converted running back. Their starting quarterback had gotten hurt earlier in the season. And this kid is very good at what he does. Probably the closest thing I can liken him to that we've seen in this area would be Tyler Armagost from Montauk several years ago, or Hayden Johnston from CL. This young man is an athletic quarterback with a lot of moves, but one thing that we have that I felt that Tussey Mountain didn't have to bring against them, we have Destin Strasser up our middle, and Benton Reichert, who plugged the middle pretty good, and Tussey Mountain really struggled with that. So I think that works out pretty good. I think this is going to be a close game. One thing I say from last week on, once you get to what used to be called the interdistricts, the state quarterfinals on, everyone is good. And I think what it comes down to is who brings their game that night, who comes out strong. The team that comes out strong and forces their will, there's a very good chance they're going to win. And I think we have as good an opportunity as anyone. I think we have a good opportunity to win this one and to even win the state championship. But again, there are 4 good teams out there right now.
Now, this game on Friday is the first of its kind for Clarion area?
Yes, this is the first time we've ever been in the state semifinal game, which basically is the West Championship. Only 2 schools from the district have ever done this before. That would be Keystone in '89 and Smethport. I'll say 92 or 93. They were in the state championship. They went to this game and won it. But a little different playoff system then too. I think there were only, with the Keystone game, I think there was only 2 games that they had to play to get there. I think just a different setting. I don't think the district playoffs were totally established the way they are now. Whole different setup. But yeah, those are the only 2 that have made it from this area. So.
You were saying before the show aired that one of the Pittsburgh newspapers offered its projection of the game.
Yes, and as much as I love the Tribune Review, that's my newspaper. I feel they're showing us no respect, and hopefully this can be locker room material for us. They have us losing the game. I mean, they're talking about our offense and how good it is the whole way through the article, and then they list us losing 35-21.
Well, we'll have to give Kevin Smith, the sports editor, a call. He once worked for our office at the university, and see what's up there.
There you go.
But so it matches up pretty good. What about type of scoring game. Clarion's known this season, especially, of these really, almost outlandish scores.
Yes, you can't expect us to do what we did during the season. I mean, teams get tougher and tougher. In fact, last week was the first week that Clarion High School hasn't mercy ruled the other team, and still won by 2 touchdowns. This game, I don't see anyone really running away with it. I look for this again to be, in that same strata. Couple
Same
touchdown
test
game
there.
or
Yeah.
less, yes.
What do you want to explain the mercy rule for people that may be more casual listeners to football?
Okay, basically what it is if you're up by 35 points at halftime or any time in the second half, once you have a 35-point spread in that game, you have a continuously running clock. Clock stops, I believe it is only for penalties and I'll say change of possession, kickoffs, that sort of thing. There may be a couple other things, but for the most part, that clock just continually runs. What that is for is so that you just can't keep running up the score. You know, the idea of youth sports, high school sports, isn't to, embarrass the other team. And I think it's a real good rule.
Now, you have, we've talked about the outlook for the game, but I was curious about some of the work you do as archivist / historian for Clarion area football. And you provided me with a 2013 fourth edition of the Records History and Records Digest. What led to your becoming the historian? I know you do this all volunteer. And what led you to choose that route?
Well, basically, this started, I'll say, 7 or 8 years ago. If you notice a change in football programs, game programs, how they used to just be that single sheet open that you opened up, saw the starting lineups, had a few ads, and it had that painted picture on the front of a football scene that we all saw for 40 years or so. Well, then schools got to a little better type of program, a lot of them. If you look at our programs, Red Bank Valley's going to more of a magazine sort of looking program. When they first started that, they started putting school passing, rushing records, that sort of thing in them. And my son, Nathan, was an all-state football player his senior year, and I thought, we've had a number of all-state kids lately. I thought we ought to list the all-state kids. So I listed the ones that were from the recent years, and you're thinking, well, there surely should be more. And you went back to the past and looked at that, and we have, as you can see looking through that, we have tons of kids who were all-state in the past that no one remembers because it just isn't out there. Coach Weiser wanted to get a record of all the coaches who've coached in the high school. So started looking that up, and it just gets addictive. You go to high school yearbooks. You go to there's what was called the Capstone Project at Clarion High School, a history little thing that they had. Newspaper. Microfilm, microfiche in the libraries. You go to all of that, and I mean it's addictive, the things that you can find, and one thing snowballs into another. And finally, after a while, I realized we got enough information to put out a little book here, and Coach Weiser and I kind of decided that we'd put this History and Records Digest out, and what we do, we offer it for $8 at the games, and the proceeds go to the football plaque fund. If you ever go into Clarion High School's gym and look at the we'll call it the Wall of Fame there along the one wall in the lobby, those all the football plaques, we try to keep that updated, and it's the funds from this that we use to get those plaques for the kids.
So the book lists a lot of different types of honors that have been received over the years, and even some statistics.
Oh yeah, tons of statistics for the team, and I'd like to say too, I'm definitely not the only one behind this. I mean, folks give you information, parents, old ex-players, they're all kinds of folks. Maybe you'll have something in that you went with the best information you had, and it wasn't exactly right. Well, someone who maybe played on one of the teams that are listed, they'll correct you. And but we have all kinds of stats. We have every result of every Clarion area game from the school's inception in 1927 on is in here, and that idea came from me from looking at Brookville's football program. They've listed theirs in their program for years, their results from every year. So that's what gave me that idea. So just one thing, leads to another to another.
So it's an ongoing project, and you welcome anybody's input into it.
Oh yeah, because there's all kinds of stuff out here. And one thing too, folks that are maybe listening that you have kids that are from other schools or you're from another school, I'd love to see every school in the county in the KSAC get something like this together, because there's all kinds of history out there from every school, and it would be great to compile it and put together you could have a 500-page volume if you had every school together, and get all of their history together on this. And hopefully this fall I'll be I've wanted to do it for years, need some pictures, got enough information, but a more or less a digest type of copy that we can do for the KSAC. A lot of things like all the players who've played pro ball, all the players who've made all state. It's not as in depth as this. We can't list every school's results every year, that sort of thing, but basically we can put together a pretty nice package there too.
You also gave me a copy of the Pennsylvania Football News, and that's a resource guide for the whole state.
Oh yeah, and that's something I tell people, that is the Bible of Pennsylvania football. And I mean, printing costs force them to charge a pretty good amount for it. I mean, it's $30 a copy now, but the thing is like around 400 to 500 pages thick, and you can find every kid who is first, second, third team All-State in PFN, Associated Press, UPI. You find all the players who've played in the East-West game, all the players who've played in the Big 33. You have like the coaches with 500 wins records. You have all the coaches who've made the State Coaches Hall of Fame. I mean, everything you can think of. If you're a fan of Pennsylvania football, that's something you want. And basically go on the Pennsylvania Football News website, and there's a link to order the book from. But like I say, it's $30 a year, but it's about the best $30 you'll ever spend. It's one of those things, you'll get it and you'll pick it up and you'll just read this thing for hours looking through it.
Right. It's even more expensive than the Bible.
Yeah.
but for some people it is good news.
Oh yeah.
I was going to say so this book has helped you a lot with your local project, probably.
Yes,
too,
it has.
So transfer. Now, you mentioned that the PA Football News also has a website. How did you get started with Clarion Sports then? I believe that covers all Clarion sports.
Yeah, it covers Clarion Elementary through high school, as well as other youth sports in the area. The Little League, Leap of Faith Gymnastics, we cover them. Even the dance studio, YMCA, that sort of thing. Yeah, we cover everything.
Yeah, so a lot of those are sometimes feeders, like the Y, it feeders into the sports program later on.
Yes, and we cover too any even though they might not be in Clarion School District, but say something that a Clarion School District kid participates in. Like this year, we gave some pretty good coverage to the Forest North Clarion midget football team. They're open to Clarion students, and I see students being in it. So we, even though we're centrally we're centered on Clarion area, if a kid who's in this district is participating elsewhere. We try to get that in too. Yes.
So this is all labor of love for you.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. Anyone who's watched me at our football games knows I'm Clarion centric. I can be one of the loudest guys in the stands sometime. Yes.
And since this is radio, I will verify that Dave is dressed with a Bobcat football hat, Bobcat football shirt, and probably even a turtleneck for Bobcats. So he is very Clarion proud. You're listening to Clarion Connection. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with Dave McClaine.
Say Merry Christmas to a Clarion County child in need by buying them a new toy this year. Some area families are financially unable to celebrate Christmas, and a simple way for you to help out is to donate a new unwrapped Christmas gift to the Christmas Toy Drive. You can find the C93 Radio 13 Christmas Toy Drive drop-off boxes at locations like the Bathtub on Main Street, Kids Choice on West Main Street, Kids Choice at Boundary Street Elementary School, the Creative Kids Learning Center right next to the YMCA, Marianne Pharmacy, F.L. Crooks & Company, and the Fun Bank of Clarion. Toys and gifts will be collected Monday, December the 9th and given to Pennies from Heaven, so get your toys into us soon. All toys and gifts will be staying in Clarion for needy families. For more information on the Radio 13 C93 Christmas Toy Drive, give us a call at 814-226-4500.
Do you know what happens when you read to your children? They become better problem solvers. Repetitive nursery rhymes help your child anticipate what comes next. Talking about pictures your child points to helps her focus. Imagine the thinking a child does when you ask, "What do you think will happen next?" What happens when you read to your kids? You help their brains grow. A message from parents as teachers.
For more information, call Clarion County's Promise at 223-1590.
Welcome back to Clarion Connection. I'm Ron Wilshire. My guest today is Dave McClaine, the force behind ClarionSportsZone.com, and also the historian for Clarion, all things Clarion football. And wanted to talk a little bit about statistics. Anymore, you can't talk football without statistics. But Larry Weiser was on the show last week, and he's had a pretty impressive run as head coach and assistant coach.
Yes, he has. Larry, in fact, had his 175th victory this past season against AC Valley, and he now has 180 exactly going into this game. And that puts him right behind Coach Rich Vidunas, the late coach of Union High School. Rich had 186, so 6 more victories. Larry will tie that, 7 more, and he'll beat Coach Vidunas, who Larry's told me before. Coach Vidunas, he just holds him in the highest esteem. Larry will pass him for the conference record, and basically in the conference standings, we'll say the district standings, you have Tim Janoko at Clearfield. He's still active with 229. This is the best figures I can get. He's in first. Paul Simcoe from Coudersport, 204. Carl D. Filippi of Smethport is tied with Coach Vidunas at 186. Then after Larry's 180, we have Ed Conto at Clarence City, who just passed Clyde Conti this year. He has 161, and Clyde Conti, who coached at CL for years, had 154. A neat thing with every one of these guys on here, except Ed Conto, who has the qualifications, every one of these other guys is in the Pennsylvania Scholastic Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Another interesting insight, too, is that Coach Weiser's class that he went in was the class of 2011. And North Catholic's former coach, who retired just within the last couple of years, Bob Jacoby, was in that class, too. So it was kind of neat seeing them whenever they were inducted.
Well, Clarion's individual players have burned a pretty bright path in the record books this season. Do you want to run down some of their accomplishments?
Oh, yeah. This is amazing. And I want to kind of put a little asterisk. I don't want to say asterisk with this, but just to mention with this team, a reason for this. This is absolutely the most talented Clarion team I have ever seen. And there are years that if you took our best players for a 15-year stretch, we would not get the athletes that this team has. It's just one of those, what appears to be a once-in-a-lifetime team. And once we look at these stats, you'll see some of this.
So, put you out on a ledge here.
Okay.
Is this the best Clarion high school football team ever?
My personal opinion, yes. I believe so. In fact, my belief of what I've seen of this team as the year has gone on has even advanced beyond that. I compared this team with the 1983 Union team that Troy Heater quarterbacked. Troy's son Brandon held our passing records for several years. And the two East Brady teams, Jim Kelly's junior and senior year. And I said that these teams, they were all, those were those teams that you could, not exactly, but you'd figure they could score at will. But I literally believe, and this is my personal opinion, I believe this team would beat either of those teams, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Personal opinion again. Not,
personal opinion.
Yes.
Well, and everybody has what.
Yes, and I am Clarion-centric, I'll admit that.
Right.
But,
so players this year, John Cadis is quite a quarterback.
Yes, and this is pretty interesting with John, too, because Clarion for years has been a 3 yards in a cloud of dust team. So these totals are very great for Clarion. You look around the state and you think, that's pretty good, but, we've seen some with a lot more. Yeah, but they weren't running the offense that John the Clarion's had over the years. And as we look at John's totals, he's done some pretty interesting things. For instance, these are all school records: 3,924 career passing yards, 48 touchdowns. Here he goes into this game needing only 2 touchdowns for 50 and 76 yards for 4,000. That was never heard of with a Clarion quarterback ever. 2,083 yards passing this season, 23 touchdowns. As I said, he only has the 1 interception this year. Kind of amazing. His favorite target, Cody Hurst, 1,905 receiving yards this year. Pushing there close to 2,000. Broke his one coach this year, Cameron Kirkland's record in that category. He broke his own touchdown record, has 21 career touchdowns. This season, he broke his personal receiving yardage record. He has 11,069 yards, 12 touchdowns. He broke Jeff Bruner's record, which stood since 1999, of 10 touchdowns. So we have that.
And they've got some powerful runners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Damian Slike. And, again, I'm Clarion-centric, but I do feel this kid is the best all-around back I've ever seen. And I tell people know the rivalry we have against Karn City, and I tell people if Damian was even playing for Karn City, I'd have to say that. I have seen backs with a little more power, a little more speed. In fact, he has a back on his own team, Ian Corbett, with a little more speed. Seen backs with a little more moves. But you combine Damian's right there, okay, in those. But you combine his blocking and his receiving passes out of the backfield. I don't think I've ever seen a more complete back ever in this district. 3,065 career total yards, 50 touchdowns. This is just rushing. 1,869 rushing yards. This is a record that he broke Kyle Cathcart's mark from 2001. And he broke Kyle's 2000 record of 27 touchdowns. He has 37. Interesting thing here, and you talk about someone who's probably like a proud papa sort of thing. Kyle Cathcart is Damian's weight training partner in the summer. So that's pretty good. Ian Corbett is another. I could go on and on with some of these stats, but there are just too many to list. Ian Corbett completes a tandem of Clarion that is their first time that they have ever had 2 1,000-yard rushers in the same season. And how's this for your number 2 running back having 1,247 yards and 20 touchdowns? That's just amazing to me. averaging over 15 yards a carry. In fact, Damien also, and getting the brunt of the carries, averages over 12 yards a carry, close to 13. Just amazing what some of these kids are doing. As I flip some of these pages, see what else we might have here. Antonio Therese, 138 for 159 PAT attempts in his career, 83 of 95 this year, 874 average, and two of two for his field goals.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's just go for a few other stats. There's so
defensive
many
stats.
accomplishments that
Yeah, it's
we
amazing.
only have a limited amount of time.
Yeah, amazing. Defensive stats like Destin Strasser, 151 tackles this year. You have three players on the team with over 100 tackles. Tyler Allen, 111. Damien comes in at 108. Brendan Miller, I think it's something like, I know it's at least 5, might be 7 interceptions. And Brendan's only a sophomore, which is kind of neat. 7 interceptions for Destin. Ethan Straffen, one of the unsung heroes. You don't hear of Ethan much, but one of those guys who just quietly does his job. 12 sacks this year. And the offensive line, even though they don't, you don't hear of those guys. When you talk about a line not giving up, we've played 14 games this year and have an offensive line that hasn't given up one sack.
Yeah, so
Just amazing.
yeah, and a lot of times when you read the newspaper reports, naturally there's just a few names mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
but it really seems to be a team effort, and a lot of people are actually behind. It's like when he rushes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a neat thing about this team. If you look at, say, the articles that we have on the website, we try to quote the kids big time. And you'll try to get them to talk about themselves. You try to lead in, hey, you had a great game, 3 touchdowns. Blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I had a great game. But I couldn't doubt if those hogs, that's our, term of endearment for our linemen at Clarion. Couldn't doubt it without the hogs. Maybe it's Damien talking. And if John wasn't throwing to Cody, opening up the passing lane so it opened up the field for us, we wouldn't have gotten the yardage. If John, he'll talk about the line. He'll talk about the fact that if Damien and Ian weren't getting the yardage, he and Cody wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And the neatest thing, probably the neatest quote I've had all year was,
Yeah, well, just take your time. It's really neat. I'll have to say, you are so behind the Bobcats. It's very emotional for you.
Yeah. Damien last week, he said Damien had what would appear to be his worst game all year. He didn't I don't think got more than 60 yards. I mean, they just keyed everything to stop him. I mean, be 3 and 4 guys on him like crazy. And he commented on that. He said, yeah, we knew all week they said in the papers they're going to come in and do their. Said, didn't matter to me. Said, figured we'll just give it to Ian and let him do his stuff all week. There's what this team is about. This team is setting tons of records, but the reason they are is they love each other. They want to see each other and this team win.
Care to make any predictions for this week?
Well, like I say, this one could go either way. Either way. We match up real well. I'm going to totally reverse the trib. I'm going to give it us 35-21. And as I say, I hope the kids use that for their locker room motivation. I'm sure the coaches will put that headline on the board. And one thing I want to say too, that I think if you notice the state rankings, we're not we never seem to get this district never seems to get any credit. We're always kind of looked down on. One thing that will change, I believe, is a state championship, and this team could be the one that could do it. And if we do, again, it's not just for us; it's for the KSAC and for District 9. And so I hope everyone from this district, from this county, gets to Mansell Stadium on Friday night, and we see a turnout like we've never seen. Again, not just for Clarion High School, but for the KSAC and the district.
Right. Oh, do you just want to summarize, what makes you so emotional about the Bobcats? And do it in 30 seconds. But.
I just love these kids. I love this school. I went to Union. This is wild. But,
you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah,
Well, Vidunas was the gold standard in coaching.
Oh, yeah. And Coach Weiser, like I say, just loves them. Mm-hmm. And this team's been good to me. I mean, over the years, I've filmed for them for years, helped in the weight room, whatever. And, what happens, they give you all kind of perks. You get the hats. I don't buy these. The hats, the T-shirts. You get the banquet, the gift certificates after the year. I mean, this is a school that treats you right. And not just me, but this community. I think we're all behind this team.
Well, Dave, thanks for joining us on Clarion Connection. It was a great show today, and good luck to the Bobcats.
And thank you for having me.